Welcome to our Hong Kong Brief Show. I'm your host, Jenny. Today, we kick off with a fun and lively event, the first ever bird call contest organized by the Hong Kong Bird Watching Society. Participants dressed up and mimicked the calls of over 580 bird species, with Bob Chan winning by imitating a Eurasian tree sparrow. It's a fantastic way to raise awareness about bird conservation while having a good time. Next, we have some patriotic pride. Hong Kong's Commerce Minister, Algernon Yau Ying-wah, shares his family's rich history of fighting for China and Taiwan's reunification. Inspired by his revolutionary grandfather, Yao expresses strong support for reunification if the opportunity arises. His story highlights how deep-rooted patriotism can run through generations. Finally, the Hong Kong stock market is riding high. Thanks to signals from the U.S. Federal Reserve suggesting a possible interest rate cut, the Hang Seng Index jumped 1.2%, marking its biggest gain in 2 weeks. Major tech stocks and Chinese markets also gained, reflecting optimism in the financial world. Please continue to watch for more details. The BBC vividly captured the lively spirit of Hong Kong's first bird call contest, where bird enthusiasts dressed in colorful attire and took to the stage to mimic the rhythmic calls of various avian species such as the koil, Asian barred owlet, and chestnut-winged cockatoo. The contest, aimed at raising awareness about conservation, culminated in Bob Chan winning the top prize with his convincing impression of a Eurasian tree sparrow. This event showcased Hong Kong's rich avian diversity, with over 580 bird species recorded, highlighting the city's vibrant natural environment and the community's dedication to celebrating and protecting its feathered inhabitants. The South China Morning Post offered a compelling portrait of Algernon Yau Ying-wah, Hong Kong's commerce minister, whose deep-seated patriotism is rooted in his family's storied history intertwined with China's tumultuous past. Yao's grandfather, Chiu Fengjia, was a Taiwanese-born politician and poet who supported China during the First Sino-Japanese War and fought fiercely to defend Taiwan's sovereignty, even selling family assets to fund Chinese troops. Yao's reverence for his ancestors' sacrifices and revolutionary spirit shapes his views on reunification, revealing a profound sense of national pride passed down through generations. His reflections on family history, combined with his own career achievements in aviation and government, paint a portrait of a man driven by a legacy of patriotism and dedication to China's development. The South China Morning Post also detailed the recent surge in Hong Kong's stock market, which experienced its most significant gains in 2 weeks following Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's hints at a potential interest rate cut. The Hang Seng Index jumped by 1.2%, buoyed by optimism in tech stocks like Baidu and NetEase, amid signs of a cooling U.S. jobs market. Meanwhile, China's property giant Evergrande was delisted from the Hong Kong Stock Exchange after years of financial turmoil, symbolizing the ongoing crisis in China's real estate sector. The delisting marked the end of a 16-year saga for the once largest developer, whose liabilities soared to over $300 billion before its collapse, emphasizing the deepening struggles within China's economic landscape amidst global financial shifts. The South China Morning Post vividly illustrates Hong Kong's strategic push to elevate its position in the global IP economy by seeking inclusion in the Madrid Protocol, a move that promises to streamline international trademark registration and bolster the city's creative industries. Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development Algernon Yau Ying-wah emphasizes the importance of this integration, highlighting how it will safeguard intellectual property rights across major markets like the US, Japan, and the EU, thereby fostering innovation and cultural exports. Amidst economic uncertainties driven by US-China tensions and the Ukraine conflict, Hong Kong is actively exploring overseas markets, from ASEAN to Latin America, while leveraging its unique legal framework and global connectivity to attract mainland firms seeking international expansion. Yao underscores that transforming the economy through digital commerce and regional collaboration is vital, viewing Hong Kong not as a competitor but as a complementary partner to mainland China, especially in R&D and manufacturing, to sustain its IP-driven growth. Meanwhile, South China Morning Post celebrates Graff's 65-year legacy of brilliance and craftsmanship with a captivating global exhibition tour that begins in Asia. The story traces Lawrence Graff's humble beginnings as a 15-year-old apprentice in London's Hatton Garden, whose innate talent for discerning the hidden beauty in rough diamonds set the foundation for a luxury empire renowned for its extraordinary gemstone acquisitions and meticulous craftsmanship. Landmark moments like acquiring the 47.39-carat Star of Bombay and transforming massive rough stones into breathtaking jewelry exemplify Graff's dedication to perfection. The highlight of the anniversary is the unveiling of the Graff Infinity Tiara, featuring the stunning 157.80-carat Infinity Diamond, an emblem of their design philosophy of design around the stone. The upcoming exhibitions in Shanghai, Singapore, and Hong Kong will showcase the house's artistry, sourcing, and innovation, reinforcing Graff's reputation as a symbol of excellence and a testament to intergenerational expertise that continues to redefine high jewelry on a global stage. In a compelling narrative of resilience and adaptation, Nikkei Asia details Japanese budget chicken chain Tor Kizoku's ambitious expansion into China, betting on the country's deflationary climate and frugal consumer base. Having thrived during Japan's economic stagnation in the 1990s, the chain plans to open 100 stores in Shanghai, aiming to replicate its success in Japan's lost decades by offering low-cost, uniform-priced chicken skewers, just 18 yuan, $2.51, to attract budget-conscious Chinese consumers. Their strategy hinges on cost efficiency and rapid expansion, with stores opening in residential districts to serve families and local communities, especially as pandemic-related rent drops and economic uncertainties persist. Tor Kizoku's experience in Hong Kong, where it opened outlets in suburban areas, demonstrates its resilience amid the city's economic slowdown and shifting consumer habits, with the brand confident that its low-price model and proximity to other Japanese brands like Sashiro will help it carve out a niche in China's competitive market. The South China Morning Post vividly recounts Hong Kong's ongoing water crisis, revealing a troubling pattern of systemic failures and eroding public trust. Decades after a scandal involving lead contamination in public housing, the Water Authority still struggles with understanding and implementing WHO standards, leading to recent incidents like black particles in tap water. The government's response to crises has been marred by delays, denial, and a culture of buck-passing, exemplified by former Chief Executive Carrie Lam's dismissive remarks about systemic failures. The latest procurement scandal, involving fake contracts and arrests, underscores deep-rooted issues in government processes. Despite acknowledging procedural inadequacies, officials continue to deflect responsibility, highlighting the urgent need for genuine civil service reform to restore confidence and accountability in public service. BBC's coverage of Evergrande's collapse paints a stark picture of China's battered property sector and its ripple effects on the economy. Once a symbol of rapid growth, Evergrande's aggressive borrowing and expansion led to a catastrophic default, with its shares plummeting over 99%. The company's founder, Hui Ka-yen, once Asia's richest man, faced fines and bans as the firm's debts soared beyond $300 billion. The crisis not only devastated the real estate market, once a third of China's GDP, but also triggered a financial ripple effect across industries like construction and banking, severely impacting ordinary families who invested savings in property. In response, Beijing implemented measures such as low-interest loans and incentives for homebuyers, yet avoided direct bailouts to prevent moral hazard. The shift in China's economic priorities towards high-tech and green industries further underscores the long-term implications of the property bubble burst, emphasizing a transition away from reliance on real estate-driven growth. South China Morning Post details Hong Kong's strategic diplomatic efforts as its commerce chief visits Singapore, aiming to redefine regional relations amid fierce competition. Algernon Yau Ying-wah emphasizes that Hong Kong and Singapore should see each other as partners rather than rivals, fostering collaboration in finance, innovation, and trade. His remarks highlight Hong Kong's unique advantage as a gateway to mainland China and the Greater Bay Area, contrasting with Singapore's strengths in Islamic finance and high-tech sectors. Yao advocates for a nuanced approach, acknowledging that each city's system is tailored to its needs and that healthy competition can drive mutual growth. His outreach extends to other markets, including the Middle East and Eastern Europe, underlining Hong Kong's proactive strategy to enhance its global standing through international engagement and storytelling, reinforcing the city's image as a vibrant, business-friendly hub amidst regional rivalry. BBC reports that Evergrande, once China's largest real estate developer, is set to be delisted from the Hong Kong Stock Exchange after over 15 years of trading, marking a somber end to a company that once boasted a valuation of more than $50 billion. The company's spectacular collapse, driven by a staggering $300 billion debt and a series of regulatory crackdowns by Beijing starting in 2020, has left a trail of economic turmoil. Once a symbol of China's economic miracle, Evergrande's founder Hui Ka-yen saw his wealth plummet from $45 billion in 2017 to less than $1 billion, as the company defaulted on overseas debts and faced legal proceedings. The liquidation process, which began after the Hong Kong High Court ordered the company to be wound up, underscores the profound impact of the property sector's downturn on China's economy, affecting millions of households and local governments reliant on real estate income. The crisis has also led to widespread layoffs, reduced consumer spending, and a slowdown in economic growth, which has eased to around 5%, far below the double-digit expansion of a decade ago. Despite government efforts to stimulate the market with various incentives, the property sector remains fragile, with other developers like China's South City Holdings and Country Garden facing their own financial struggles, signaling that the property crisis is far from over. SCMP opinion emphasizes that Evergrande's delisting signifies the conclusion of China's real estate bubble, an era characterized by reckless leverage and rapid expansion that ultimately proved unsustainable. The company's downfall, marked by Hui Ka-yen's reckless growth strategies and extravagant lifestyle, was a necessary cleansing step for the Chinese economy, which Beijing intentionally allowed to burst rather than prolong the inevitable. The collapse of Evergrande, with debts of approximately $300 billion, not only wiped out shareholders but also exposed the systemic risks of an overheated property market driven by aggressive borrowing and speculative investments. The liquidation reflects a strategic shift by the Chinese government towards high-quality growth, focusing on innovation and technology sectors, as the property industry transitions into a prolonged period of decline. The story underscores the painful but necessary process of economic restructuring, with the hope that the worst is behind and that China can rebuild a more sustainable and resilient growth model. South China Morning Post details how Hong Kong's low-rate honeymoon has ended as the city's currency-pegged defense has led to rising HIBOR rates, affecting borrowers and the property market. Over the past 2 months, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority intervened multiple times to maintain the peg to the US dollar, buying 119.95 billion Hong Kong dollars and selling 15.28 billion US dollars, which drained excess liquidity and caused the interbank rate, HIBOR, to spike from near 0.2% to over 2.7%. This surge has significantly increased mortgage payments for homeowners, with monthly costs rising by nearly 25%, dampening the enthusiasm for property purchases and slowing down the recovery of Hong Kong's real estate sector. The higher HIBOR also raises funding costs for developers and corporations, potentially curbing investment and growth. While some analysts expect the U.S. Federal Reserve to cut interest rates soon, easing pressure on Hong Kong's rates, others warn that the tightening of liquidity and rising borrowing costs could hinder the city's economic rebound, especially as the local stock market remains strong and demand for the Hong Kong dollar persists. The end of the low-rate period signals a shift towards a more cautious environment for borrowing and investment, with implications for the broader property and financial markets in Hong Kong. South China Morning Post vividly paints a picture of Hong Kong's culinary decline, highlighting the city's long-standing reputation as a culinary paradise where East meets West, yet revealing the silent unraveling of its food industry. The article describes the collapse of local agriculture and fisheries, once vital to the city's food supply, now reduced to a mere 2% of vegetables and heavily dependent on imports, many of which lack proper traceability. This deindustrialization has left Hong Kong vulnerable to global disruptions, while bureaucratic fragmentation hampers industry development. The city's cherished street hawkers, dai pai dongs, and wet markets have been displaced by rigid urban policies favoring chains, erasing vibrant social hubs and cultural identity. Contrasting Hong Kong's neglect, Singapore's hawker centers are protected cultural treasures, fostering community and supporting small entrepreneurs. The article emphasizes that reform must go beyond quick fixes, advocating for a holistic approach that revives local industries, modernizes culinary education, integrates food heritage into city planning, and develops sustainable food waste systems, ensuring that food remains more than commerce, but a vital part of cultural memory and community life. CNN reports on the imminent end of a significant trade exemption that is threatening small businesses engaged in international e-commerce. The expiration of the de minimis exemption, which allowed duty-free imports of goods valued up to $800, marks a turning point as postal services worldwide begin suspending shipments to the United States. This change, driven by the U.S. government's new tariffs and stricter customs procedures, is expected to impose hefty additional charges on small packages, affecting thousands of online sellers, from Amazon and TikTok Shop to Etsy and Shopify. The article vividly illustrates the ripple effects through stories of businesses like Vancouver's Abbott Atelier Jewelry and UK's Shed Made, which face operational halts and financial uncertainties. With tariffs soaring, Brazil facing 50%, and postal services halting shipments, small enterprises are caught in a turbulent shift, forcing them to reconsider their markets or suspend exports altogether. The shift underscores a broader challenge: how new trade policies reshape global commerce, threaten livelihoods, and demand innovative adaptation from entrepreneurs navigating a complex and uncertain landscape. South China Morning Post's coverage of Sun Yingxia's victory at the WTT Europe Smash encapsulates a moment of sporting excellence amid fierce competition. The article vividly describes the tension and skill displayed in the women's final, where the world number one, Sun, faced her compatriot Wang Manyu in a tightly contested match. Sun's resilience shone through as she fought back from a 2-0 deficit, ultimately winning 4-2 in a match that kept spectators on the edge of their seats. The narrative emphasizes the significance of this victory, not only as a testament to Sun's talent but also as a showcase of China's dominance in table tennis. The article also highlights the doubles victories of Hong Kong's Wang Chunting and Baldwin Chan Hoa, adding a local flavor to the international success story. Through vivid descriptions of the matches and the players' determination, the coverage captures the thrill of the sport and celebrates the achievements of these athletes on the global stage, symbolizing perseverance, skill, and national pride. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Scrolling through the headlines, another crazy day. 6 degrees of stories, connecting in their way. From the weather to the sports, and everything we see. People making news on TV screens for free. 6 degree world, where the news comes in a whirl. Every story ties together like a ribbon in a twirl. Sit back and watch it all, big and small they call. From city lights to countryside, we're connected after all. A laugh, a cry, a sigh, news is flying high. From city lights to countryside, we're connected after all.